At APS, we envision a world powered 100% by clean energy, and we are committed to doing our part to help small businesses across Arizona. The Going Green, Going Smart program is designed to arm you with tools to save money, save energy, and attract new customers to your small business. The COVID-19 pandemic has had unprecedented impacts to our economy and especially our small business community. And this program is designed to help you take your small business to the next level and come back even stronger. You will learn how to build a sustainability plan, create an energy audit checklist, as well as a green marketing plan through our on-demand training program. You'll earn the certificate in less than 60 minutes, and it's free of charge. So please be sure to visit greenbizaz.com for a list of resources and scheduled events.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Going Green and Going Smart Program's Expert Session Series. My name is Edgar Olivo, and I am your host for today's engaging conversation. I am thrilled that you have chosen to spend your time with us today. In this installment, we're going to delve into what small business owners in the food industry need to understand about eco-friendly agriculture and its significance in boosting sustainability. As we all know, the health of our planet is at a critical juncture, and the food industry plays a key role in either exacerbating or mitigating these environmental challenges. That's why understanding and implementing sustainable agricultural practices are not just an option, but a necessity for our industry. Shifting to eco-friendly agricultural practices can deliver numerous benefits, from reducing your business's environmental footprint, improving operational efficiency, enhancing the health of our ecosystems, to even opening up new funding opportunities. In today's expert session, we'll explore those areas and much more. We have an outstanding lineup of sustainability expert panelists from diverse backgrounds. They will share their insights and experiences on how small businesses can adopt eco-friendly agricultural practices and navigate the challenges along the way. They've got some incredibly practical tips and strategies lined up, so you want to make sure you stay tuned. If this is your first time joining us, let me extend a warm welcome to you. These expert sessions are designed to help you enhance your sustainable practices and augment your on-demand certificate program. If you haven't explored the certificate course, I'll share more details at the end of today's expert session on how you can earn your free sustainability certificate. Our mission is to assist small businesses across Arizona to reduce their environmental impact, save money, and grow sustainably while preserving our natural resources, all through this complimentary online program. We know that sustainability is no longer a buzzword. It's a necessity, both for your customers and the planet we call home. This program aims to equip you with the vital skills to help you achieve your green goals and beyond. So let's get started. I'd like to kick off with a simple question for you today. What does your business currently do to promote sustainability in the food industry? If you've been keeping an eye on the food industry recently, you'd know that sustainability and eco-friendliness are not just trends. They're the future of the sector. As concerns over environmental degradation, climate change, and resource scarcity continue to rise, there is a growing need to transform our agricultural practices. Arizona, known for its diverse landscapes from desert to pine forest, is also home to a robust food industry. Yet, like many other regions around the world, Arizona has to grapple with the challenges of climate change and resource overuse. So, in this context, how can we make a difference? Here are 5 key strategies to boost sustainability in the food industry through eco-friendly agricultural practices. Sourcing locally and sustainably. Small businesses selling food can make a significant impact by choosing to source their products from local, sustainable farms. This practice not only supports the local economy, but also reduces carbon emissions associated with long-distance transportation. Furthermore, sustainable farms use practices that are less harmful to the environment and produce healthier foods. Reducing food waste. Food waste is a huge issue with significant environmental and financial implications. Small businesses can implement strategies to minimize waste, such as planning inventory carefully, repurposing leftovers, and offering portion options to customers. Composting organic waste can also be a great way to enrich soil in local community gardens or farms. Promoting plant-based options. A plant-based diet has a lower environmental impact compared to a diet high in animal products. By offering and promoting more plant-based options, small businesses can contribute to a more sustainable food system. Using eco-friendly packaging. The packaging used in the food industry can lead to significant waste. Small businesses can opt for reusable, biodegradable, or compostable packaging to reduce their environmental footprint. Educating customers. Small businesses have a unique opportunity to educate their customers about the importance of sustainable food choices. Through signage, social media, or conversations, businesses can share information about where their products come from, how they're produced, and why it matters. By adopting these strategies, small businesses in the food industry can not only reduce their environmental impact, but also meet the growing consumer demand for sustainable and ethical products. And by the way, Arizona is one of the fastest growing states in our country. Our expert panelists will provide more in-depth insights and actionable tips on these strategies in our next segment. Now let's move on to introduce our panel of experts who will share their experiences in implementing these eco-friendly practices in their businesses.
Hello, my name is Emma Linehan, Senior Business Relations Manager with the Arizona Small Business Association. On behalf of all of us at ASBA, welcome to the Going Green and Going Smart program. At ASBA, we're committed to driving a better environment for all of us to do business by ensuring our small business community has the tools, resources, and competitive intelligence needed to recover and thrive. With the Going Green and Going Smart program, small businesses will have the opportunity to save money, save energy, and then use that savings to continue to grow their customer base. At no cost, you can transform your business by learning how sustainable practices can put money back in your pocket and differentiate you within a competitive market. ASBA proudly supports the initiatives of the Going Green and Going Smart program and encourages our small business community to take advantage of the education and money-saving benefits by visiting greenbizaz.com.
As we've just explored, adopting eco-friendly agriculture practices and making sustainable choices are crucial for the future of our food industry and the health of our planet. To delve deeper into these strategies and share valuable insights on how we can apply them into our businesses, we have assembled a stellar lineup of expert panelists. So ready your notes, prepare your questions, and brace yourselves for an enlightening conversation. Without further ado, let's meet our expert panel. Dr. Donna Jagielski, or Dr. J, is a STEM education trailblazer with over 2 decades of experience in building equitable opportunities for underrepresented communities. With a doctorate from ASU focusing on STEM-based learning and educational technology, she has spent her career connecting nature and high-tech solutions for workforce development. At the Arizona Sustainability Alliance, Dr. J continues to be a champion on sustainable practices and education, bridging the gap between science and sustainability. Our next panelist is Subash Yadav. He is the culinary genius behind Mr. Momo, a food truck that brings the rich flavors of Nepali cooking to Phoenix. Named Best New Chef by the Phoenix New Times in 2020, Subash is passionate about offering healthy, flavorful, and affordable food options. Despite challenges like the pandemic and a restaurant fire, his resilience and dedication have made Mr. Momo a beloved presence at food markets, pop-ups, and local events across the Phoenix area. It is also a pleasure to introduce Maya Dailey, who is owner of Maya's Farm and esteemed panelist on eco-friendly agriculture. With a background in nursing and a bachelor's degree in biology and geology, Maya brings a unique scientific perspective to sustainable farming. Her farm, nestled near South Mountain Park in Phoenix, specializes in high-quality CCOF organically certified produce cultivated without pesticides or commercial fertilizers. We are excited to hear Maya's valuable insights and experiences in the realm of eco-friendly agriculture. All right, everyone. How are you doing today?
Doing
We're great.
well.
Hi.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for being a part of this important conversation. We're going to really focus on eco-friendly agriculture and really boosting sustainability in the food industry. And so I already told our audience who you are. And as I was mentioning before we were setting up our conversation, I feel like I'm surrounded by the best of the best in the field. And so I cannot wait for all the insights and resources you're going to be talking about. And so to kick off our conversation and every conversation on these Going Green webinars, I like to ask this first question, which is, what does sustainability mean to you? And I'm going to start with you, Dr. J. What does sustainability mean to you?
Thank you. Yes. What sustainability means to me is for all of us, for each of us to implement our best practices for overall conservation, to be really cognizant of the choices that we're making that impact food, packaging, water use, food waste, everything of that nature, whether we're making a choice of purchasing a book that's a hard copy book, that's paper, examining if it is recycled paper, what are all those details, or are we going to load that on our tablet, on a digital version of it, energy use, water use, everything of that nature. Really being aware of the R's of reusing, recycling, upcycling, and just how are we conserving all of the resources that are on our planet.
I love that. I love that definition. Looking at everything that is in our hands, like even books. That's an excellent perspective. And Subash, I'm so happy that you're here with us. You're a world-class chef. What does sustainability mean to you?
To me, I think it's about being very intentional and making those choices that are not just better for you, but better for the environment, better for the planet, and better for the people eventually, so that intentionality is got to be there, because sustainability means so many things to so many people. So yeah, just choosing what is important to you and being very intentional about it.
Yeah, intentionality is definitely very important, because we have to make more intentional, purposeful choices. I love that definition. And Maya, you are a legend here in Arizona. You live and breathe sustainability, considering our unique climate. I'd love to hear what your perspective is on sustainability.
So I have to say thank you to both of you for sharing your perspective. Sustainability is huge, and it's a really broad issue. I like the term intentionality. It is something that I think all of us need to become more conscious of. And so in that word intentionality, I believe that conscious choices of how we live on our earth is very important. As an organic farmer, I practice many different types of, I think, ecological friendly ways. The biggest one that I can think of right now for me is our soil, how we treat the soil. That brings life back into it, that preserves and uses less water.
Yeah, absolutely. The topsoil of our earth is where life happens, and we definitely have to consider that that's an important element in feeding our societies. I love that. I love that you spoke about that. And, our ecology is so important here in Arizona, and small business owners are doing their part, at least through the program that we're providing in the community, Going Green and Going Smart, teaching them to be more eco-friendly. But along the way, there are challenges and things that, really are out of our control. And so I'd love to kind of pinpoint and identify some of those challenges. And I'll start again with Dr. J. What are some challenges facing the agriculture industry here in Arizona?
Well, I think there are several, and one that I'm just listening as I'm listening to the other pieces of our conversation, the piece of advocacy and speaking up. I'll give an example that, when we're in a restaurant and we get a little, to go takeout container and everything like that, to question our restaurants, our owners, and saying, okay, I see that you're using this, material, styrofoam. Have you ever considered using this? I think that educating the public to speak up and advocate about changes is important.
Yeah.
I think the other areas of challenge, certainly cost. It certainly costs much. There's an increase of cost on food that is organic, that is locally grown. And people, again, going back to education, don't really understand why there's a higher cost attached to that.
Right.
And then the quantity. I mean, we go to our local farmers market and we pay a little bit higher price for our foods, and we receive a little bit smaller quantity of those foods. But again, the reasons and the rationales why, and as far as that availability and everything like that. I think those are some. of those challenges. And it goes back to just educating the public and speaking up and being an advocate for those changes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Using our voice as a tool to help solve some of these problems, and definitely, identifying, how the food industry is also navigating some of these challenges and how we can be participants in the solution. And Subash, you are in the food industry. You are delivering some of these solutions. Tell us a little bit about that, and what are some of the challenges that you think are facing the agriculture industry today?
I mean, I think Maya would be a better person to answer this question. But from my background, from my knowledge and my experience, I think one of the things is lack of clarity.
Mm,
What does it mean to be sustainable, and how is it actually benefiting the farmers, the business owners, or the environment, and having that factual data to prove that, just so there's more clarity.
right.
So I think that is missing quite a bit. And I think an organization like you, what you guys are doing right now is just amazing to make it easier for farmers and business owners to give that clarity and their resources.
Right, right. And, in your business, I'm sure you're looking at your own supply chain, which is directly connected to where our food is coming from. Maya, we're teeing this question off to you as well. What are the challenges? I'm sure you're experiencing those firsthand. What would you like to share?
Okay, so for me, from a organic small farm perspective, there's lots of challenges. I mean, there's obviously water is a challenge. Obviously, labor is a challenge.
Yeah.
Obviously, where we're living, land is a challenge at this point. And so when I begin to think of how we can shift change, I always go back to the educational aspect. So when we're talking about supporting small farmers and production, we're looking at a systems change, and we're looking at figuring out how to get those products off small farms into the hands of people like restaurants and schools and food trucks and farmers markets. We're trying to educate people about the benefits of supporting local agriculture, and that is huge. I mean, one, your food may cost more, but when you look at it from the sense of freshness, shelf life, and our carbon footprint, the prices of those items on our market floor are actually less costly than trucking in foods from different regions. So as we begin to look at that local food movement, we need to remember that, getting food locally is packed with flavor. It's fresher, so it's packed with nutrition. It is its longevity and shelf life are longer, and we're really making a dent in our carbon footprint. So in that respect, buying and supporting our local growers is really important. The other aspect is creating access to people in need, creating systems that enliven underserved communities of color. These are really, really important concepts to bring forward when we talk about sustainability, because not only is sustainability about our environment, it's also about our humanness, and food can combat all of that. It can combat the environment, it can create healthier communities, it can feed our people in a way that we're nurturing and enlivening them in a way that's healthy.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Food is definitely the intersection of our society, and it's such an important piece of our supply chain as well. You are an important component of the economy, and you said, we were kind of alluding to the green premium, right? Things feel more expensive when you go more eco-friendly, organic. However, when we're speaking about that in terms locally, the circular effect that happens, the local money, that money is circulating amongst our economy. It doesn't really leave. And so that's an excellent point, how food intersects our humanity. So I love that you brought that up as well. Now, continuing on this conversation, there are a lot of other other ideas that are in the community that help advance some of this work. And so I'd love to hear from you. How can Arizona small businesses and small business owners collaborate with local organizations and government to support eco-friendly agriculture? We know that those are institutions that in some cases could be hindering the progress or helping advance the progress. And so I'd love to hear your perspectives on this. We'll start again with you, Dr. J. What are your thoughts around this question?
Thank you. Yes. I think one of the key aspects is just being willing to reinvent yourself as a leader in this area, being willing to being open-minded, and innovation. Innovation is very key. Visibility, leveraging social media is very key to this to these efforts, and collaborating with municipalities, state agencies. When we take a look at the food insecurities, even though we adhere to particular guidelines with, dietary needs in our schools and other agencies, all those areas are still not getting the best nutritional value. I think if we take a look at, in the long run, like we said, we're investing a little bit more money in better foods, but in the long run, it is cutting down, is reducing a lot of health issues that we may face by spending less money and eating, unhealthy foods.
Right.
Just thinking creatively, I'll cite one example. Mobile, buses and units, Activate Food AZ. Is a great example where they're a mobile express, organization that brings healthy foods to people who do not have the ability, that are homebound, that are seniors, that are in senior centers, again, that are relying on the foods that are just supplied and brought into their organization, where they don't have a choice in that accessibility.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Accessibility is such an important thing. And when organizations expand accessibility, we all benefit from that. And that's an excellent, excellent point. And, Subash, as a small business owner, what are some of the ways that you've collaborated around in your community? I know you've also built up a really nice network of support, and your brand, Mr. Momo, is doing a really great job in this field. What are your thoughts?
Again, for me, it was about connecting with the community. That was really helpful. When I started my business, one of the things, sustainability was a big part of it, but it's been evolving as I grow. It's like, what does that mean? Does that mean saving on food waste, cutting down food waste? Does that mean renewable energy? So for me, buying local is and has always been important in terms of keeping my brand authentic. And so I work with a lot of farmers and some of the distributors who I'm actively asking them, where does this food come from? I want to make sure you tell me or send me a list of only Arizona farmers that grow these things. And just buying things that are in season, one of the reasons I had to kind of have a concise menu is I wanted to do a fewer things to reduce food waste, because in restaurants it's so hard to not have food waste. So that was important, and just really being intentional and making that conscious choice of where I get my products.
Well, yeah, back to intentionality, right? From the menu choices, your food sources, all of these things have an effect. And that's a really great example of how to collaborate with local groups. And, Maya, I know you're also well known in Arizona. What are some of your thoughts around, how do business owners collaborate? How should we be collaborating with our
Oh,
local
I
group?
think this is a great one. And I think that if we look at where we were at 20 years ago in this and compare to where we are today, I think there's been lots of success stories. So the collaboration creates partnerships, creates community. So that's a fantastic way to shape change. I believe that I see right now all kinds of partnerships. I see a partnership that I've had with Arizona Sustainability Alliance that's helped me implement some really cool sustainable projects on my farm, especially the agrovoltaics project. I have partnerships, me personally, with the city of Phoenix and growing food and educating new growers to maybe want to get into the industry. I have partnerships with the Phoenix Elementary School District where I'm building a farm to school program through the Mullen Foundation, educating students about nutrition, health, sustainable skills, life skills, nutrition, and academics. So the partnerships have come together in a really beautiful way. ASU is part of that community that, we put together a while back a dinner called Dinner 2040, and all these players came to that luncheon and had a conversation about what we're going to do about food come year 2040 in the valley, especially with our drought tolerant conditions that are happening. And those people have come together and built stronger relationships and stronger partnerships around food access and sustainable solutions. So the collaboration between farmers, business owners, the city, and our state government are what is going to build the future for Arizona in a more sustainable way. And that has to do with food production. It has to do with energy production. It has to do with education. Those pieces of the puzzle are huge. And I really am thrilled to see the growth that's happened between all the different partnerships throughout our city right now to build a more secure food future. As a board member at the beginning of the downtown Phoenix Public Market, we set into place, philosophies for the food trucks or the added value vendors that they had to be purchasing a certain amount of their product from local farmers. From that, we've spawned Sun Produce Cooperative, which is a farmer-driven cooperative that supports a lot of the smaller growers, pulls our product together, and we can distribute it to larger networks via senior citizens, via schools, via hospitals. So it's a really great thing that has happened for us locally between the government, small business owners, and our schools.
That's wonderful. I love how you explained that, your farm is basically serving as a convener and a prism for such a beautiful perspective that supporting eco-friendly agriculture can have all these dividends for the entire community up and down the supply chain, all through our organizations, and benefits to small business owners. And I love that you highlighted that you're incorporating a youth element and incorporating our education system. There are so many opportunities. Those are really, really great examples, Maya. Thank you so much for sharing that. And, go ahead, Subash, go ahead.
To add, Maya, what you said, and it makes me so happy to see these initiatives where I've seen a lot of local chefs and farmers work together to also educate children in and absolutely love seeing that, because now the kids are growing up seeing that value in fresh and local food, and it's such a beautiful relationship.
It really is.
It's really a must, because they hold the key to they hold the key to shifting change. We need to educate them so that we swing the pendulum a little bit back in balance, because right now our environment is at stake, our health is at stake, and agriculture, I believe, is a key player in shifting that. And so that in order to really make that change happen, the education of our young ones is probably one of the, I think, probably the
Yeah.
most important
No,
thing that we can be doing. And so for me as a
Absolutely.
farmer, it brings that whole circle, full circle, because I'm passing my knowledge, my intuition, and my understanding about our choices as society today, that have damaged our environment and hurt our air and hurt our water, and created a toxic food system. We as farmers, we as educators need to begin to swing that pendulum back to a different place, and through our kids is where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Totally agree. We need to give all three of you a stage, right? I love it. I love it. And so building off our conversation of what we've been sharing, and, there are things that business owners can do right now. What are some of those things that you could recommend that are cost-effective measures that could help prioritize, some of these strategies that you're discussing, especially considering Arizona's unique climate? So I'll start again with you, Dr. J. What are your thoughts around this? What can small business owners do today?
Well, just to kind of continue a little bit of that conversation around education, education is so key, like we've been saying. And as an educator, I always encourage educators, students to really see themselves as, even though we are consuming food, that we are food creators more so than being food consumers. And that is a big, big difference. I think that we're also very, very fortunate. I think that we can always see in any situation, view the glass half full or half empty. And I'm one who always sees the glass half full. I think that we have a great advantage here in our state of Arizona, even though we're really kind of in a food desert here, in the Phoenix area. But we have so many different geographic climates in the entire state of Arizona, where now as we're looking at the challenge of how do we sustain, how do we sustain what's word I'm looking for? I would say the traffic. How do we sustain the traffic with our farmers markets here in the Phoenix area, now that we're heading into our hottest season and everything? But this is where now we can shift gears and lean upon our partners in the north. In Flagstaff, where now that is, this is the time of summer up in Flagstaff where the farmers markets are flourishing up there. I think we kind of create some of those partnerships statewide and leverage the strengths of the climate in all of these areas. I think that will definitely help.
That's a very interesting perspective. Go ahead, Maya. You have some thoughts?
I'd like to just fill in on that. And so what we're doing with Sun Produce Cooperative, which is our farmer-driven cooperative here in Phoenix, is we are collaborating with the North and the South and the state to utilize exactly what you're talking about, so that when our lettuce season goes down in the heat of the summer, we are leaning on our friends in the north to bring that product into the valley, and vice versa. In the southern part of the state, when chili season is happening and it's down for us here, we're bringing those kinds of products in. So there's a real nice, wonderful partnership happening statewide between our different areas to support small growers in a way that their product gets sold. We can leave rural America on their land, and they can have economic revenue through this distribution model that Sun Produce Farmer Driven Cooperative is offering.
Beautiful. Such
So
beautiful,
it's
beautiful examples. That's excellent. Thank you so much. And I guess this question really is meant for you, Subash, because you are the one practicing as a small business owner sustainability strategies. If we were a restaurant or a food truck, what would you recommend for us to also make choices like you?
I think it really comes down to making that practical business decisions, right? Um, we live in Arizona. Like, first thing I can think of is renewable energy. How can we incorporate solar power into our business practices? And then really focusing on local sourcing locally. So I love Sun Co-op, by the way. What
we're
they've
trying.
done,
We're making it happen.
you guys have done an outstanding job at just centralizing those resources. So it eliminates that hunting game. Like, where do I buy these things from?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So and the relationship that farmers have built with chefs and restaurants and cafes and schools, it's really, really important. So for example, I work with Rival Farm very closely, and he will literally ask me, what do you want me to grow for you in the fall? And
Wow.
that is such a beautiful thing, where
Yeah.
if if the farmers are putting in the work, then that food needs to go somewhere. And if chefs can be more creative about the menus, and and work actively with farmers, I think that is probably the easiest and the best way to start this,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's, I think, is so important.
Very good. And Maya, would you like to add to any tips that you'd like to recommend for small business owners on how to be more sustainable in their own business?
Well, I think we just have to be more conscious and more intentional, as Subash has said earlier. And that means when we're looking at supporting small agricultural growers locally, that we are partnering, we are
Mm-hmm.
making suggestions,
Mm-hmm.
just like Subash said, hey, can you grow this for me?
Mm-hmm.
Also, they can look at, as Dr. Joy has said earlier, what kinds of packaging are
Mm-hmm.
we using? Is
Yeah.
there a way that we can get rid of our plastics?
Mm-hmm.
Plastic kills. We
Yeah.
are so dependent upon it. It's really hard. It's really hard not to. My
Yeah.
water bottle didn't come with me. I forgot it, so I'm drinking out of plastic.
It's the
That's
alternative, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that if you start to be conscious of, you can minimize your impact on the environment.
Right.
So it just takes a slowing down a little bit,
Yeah.
looking at where you might be able to nick and tuck in those areas. Um, the reason why I would suggest sourcing stuff from local growers is we have the ability to really impact our soil, our water
Mm-hmm.
usage through our handling and nurturing of the earth. And
Right.
so by doing that, you are actually affecting the environment too. You're
Mm-hmm.
affecting the air quality. So these postage stamp size farms that we have created in some of our urban corridor really hold the key and the secret, I think, for larger ag to follow in our footsteps down the road for regenerative agriculture. Because of the water crisis in our state, our agricultural water usage, especially in Yuma County, is being asked to be cut by 21%.
Wow.
That's huge. So what
Wow.
they're going to need to do is they're going to have to rethink and
Mm-hmm.
relearn how we grow
Yep.
food.
Yep.
And that is something that small businesses can prioritize,
Yep.
demand, question,
Right.
and sort of push in the right direction by
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, how do you grow your food?
Mm-hmm.
Are you using these practices? Are you regenerative? Are you organic? Are you, what are you doing to help save water?
Yeah.
Those are ways that small businesses actually can shift change. And
That's
by
wonderful.
supporting small business, but small agricultural producers that are doing the right thing for the land, the environment, our communities, and our health.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I knew this conversation was going to be so good because of all of the wonderful examples that you're sharing. And, we do want this program to also point people in the right direction. So if there are any resources, any organizations, things that you feel that small business owners should know so that they can get engaged now, this would be the time to name drop any organization that you're working with, or even talk about some of the resources your organization is involved in. I'd like to start with you, Dr. J. I know you work with a really important organization here in Arizona. Give us a
Yeah.
sneak peek.
Yes, Arizona Sustainability Alliance. The work that we do is outstanding. And I love the work that I do with the Sustainability Alliance as education programs manager, because it's very much a lot like what Maya was talking about, the importance of educating our next generation of individuals who need to use those inquiry skills, to question, to think critically. And by having those partners out in the industry, such as we do right here, to be not only those guest speakers in schools, to be those mentors for students and teachers, is so important that the students see all of this in action, in context. The contextual learning makes it very relevant. So instead, I always say, utilizing that model of STEM, it's so much more impactful for our students to hear these stories, to visit a farmer's market, to understand, to lead a farmer's market, rather than, working out a word problem, in a book or anything like that as part of their curriculum. Because the science really is already there. But what a lot of students don't recognize is, exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about business plans, a business model for both of these. How do you write that? The importance right there of literacy and math. It's huge when we take a look at, businesses that need to analyze a cost benefit analysis. The percentages of your water usage, waste. We conduct one of our activities, which is great. We conduct a waste audit. The kids just love it. They're getting their hands kind of, they wear gloves, but they're through their, oh, this is a half-eaten apple, this has got one bite. It's the same difference, whether there's one bite in the apple or it's half eaten, it's thrown away, versus a waste that here's the apple that was placed on, the food tray, on the lunch tray. It's all wrapped up, but it was never unwrapped, and really, what does that look like? And to hear from, our industry, local growers, that kind of relationship, and what does that mean? And how does that impact that entire circular economy? That's when math really comes alive. And now students have a vested interest in solving those problems.
Right. There's nothing like hands-on learning. I love it. I love it. And, Subash, you're also part of a really important ecosystem. What are some of the resources that you've probably tapped into and that you would recommend other small business owners to explore?
Yeah. So obviously, Arizona Sustainability Alliance, I've recently learned more about it. And I think I've been able to connect to a lot of people who share similar interests and backgrounds. So it's been great. But for new businesses or other small businesses, Local First Arizona is such a great organization. And they actually have a sustainability department that helps businesses get to new or existing business. They help you achieve and get to your sustainability goals. And it's such a great resource center. They have tons and tons of resource, and Cahoots by Jenny and Odin. They've done an amazing job at supporting small businesses. So I really encourage people to go to these resources. And one of the things that I wanted to add is a lot of businesses are already doing something, because I
Mhm.
think our generation, we've understood and realized the importance of making those as choices,
Yep.
but we don't talk about it enough.
Yep.
I think we need to talk more about why we do certain things in terms of sustainability.
Yep.
And also, that helps to educate other small businesses and educate consumers. And
Mm-hmm.
I think consumers are also being conscious, but if they don't know, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important, like using social media platform to really talk about why you're doing certain things. Like we
Yeah.
use bamboo forks, we use hemp as protein substitute in our veggie momos, and why do we do that? So yeah, I think that's very important and helpful as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. And Maya, you've already been mentioning a lot of these groups that you're intersecting with and working with and collaborating. What are some resources that small business owners should go and tap into right away?
Hey, Subash, thanks for bringing Local First to the table because they're great.
Yeah.
They are definitely a leader and part of our change making network here in the state. They've been extremely influential in rural agricultural and helping to launch new farmers on the land. So a big shout out to Local First for sure. I think of Sun Produce again as
Mm-hmm.
being a mover and shaker for us right now. We've done a lot of work. It's been a dream come into fruition. We're still got a long path and a haul ahead of us to continue to grow that business nonprofit. I also
Mm-hmm.
think of Pinnacle Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Adrienne Ubari and her team have rocked out as far as the SNAP WIC underserved community food benefits go. And they continue to support us in areas like creating an educational system that will bring more farmers to the table, creating a farm to school network that will increase the awareness and the importance of changing the nutrition of our school foods, swinging it back to scratch. I also have to do a shout out to the Mullen Foundation, who I absolutely adore and work with because they've done a great job over in Phoenix Elementary School District for bringing garden cooking education to the table, along with trying to shift the cafeteria food for the students. All really interrelated and very big. Partnerships with people like ASU
Mm-hmm.
and their food sustainability system is also another place to reach out to if you're interested in growing your knowledge or your career around changing the way America accesses, grows, and distributes food. So I would say Local First, ASU, Mullen Foundation, and Sun Produce. And there's also one other biggie, the City of Phoenix. We
There you
can't
go.
do this work without them and without their support. So, and there's also you guys, Arizona Sustainability Alliance. So you've got a handful there. Local First, Arizona Sustainability Alliance, ASU, Sun Produce, Pinnacle Prevention, and I think I left somebody out, but I think it's
I'll make sure to put links to all of these organizations that you're mentioning so that our audience can make sure to access that. And I really appreciate all the shout outs and, of course, all the collaboration that you show in our community and the leadership that you're implementing. And we're reaching the end of our conversation. You've already shared so many successful examples of what it looks like to have a thriving economy, especially a healthy ecosystem in agriculture. I'd love to kind of tap into any final remarks, Dr. J. Any final remarks that you feel need to be shared with us, with our group today?
Yes, thank you. Well, one of the areas that I'm very passionate about as an educator is tackling the challenge of reducing that food insecurity.
Mhm.
We have no idea. I mean, sometimes just the areas that it impacts. And this is why, accessibility is so key. And for all of us to think about how we can shift and pivot. I know that, several years ago with the pandemic, we were all faced with having to pivot, but, constantly, thinking about how we can reinvent ourselves and bring food to others and that food education, and not necessarily expecting them to come to us.
Yeah.
So really kind of reducing some of that mass big box food distribution that really impacts so many areas, like Maya pointed out, which I completely know coming from the education system. Even though there are those dietary regulations that everybody is held accountable to, but our school cafeterias, rural communities, our veterans, our elderly population, our seniors who are in, senior care facilities, the healthcare system. We're not even, talking about, hospitals, but there are so many different areas of our healthcare system. Our youth that are in foster care systems are just as impacted, systems that are in detention centers, everything of that nature, our low income, populations. How are we reaching them? How are we educating them? How are we making these opportunities accessible? And how are we providing a voice for these individuals? Yes, that, our population, shelters, everything like that.
Yeah. You left us with some really good big questions. I love that, Dr. J. And Subash, any final remarks, anything that you still would like to share to add to our conversation?
I think businesses don't get rewarded, businesses or farmers who make these actively are making these intentional choices about being sustainable. There's no reward, if you will. Like a lot of thought process, especially with businesses, I feel like if I'm making these switches, it's just going to cost me more. So I know that it is not the truth, right? In long run, in a bigger picture, it's better for the businesses, better for the local economy. But in a short sight, I feel like there's not enough information or education for businesses. And I think you guys are doing an amazing job spreading that information. And like Maya has talked about working with different organizations, this kind of information is not readily available. So people need to know, how is it beneficial for them? And I think customers need to reward and support these businesses that are making these choices.
Absolutely.
Because we can't look at the dollar value as like, well, I'm buying this same potato for a third of a price. Well, yeah, but somebody's actively making an effort to make this world a better place. So let's reward them and let's support them, right? The government, and in terms of the local and state level, I think if businesses are offered some sort of tax break or some sort of reduction in license fees or renewal fees, that would encourage businesses to make those, right? So I think that needs to happen a little bit more. And I know you guys are doing an amazing job heading that direction. So I'm just looking forward to all of it.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Subash. And Dr. J. Maya, give us some final remarks. Send us off with a good message, whatever you want to share that's in your heart.
Subash, thank you for sharing that. I do agree with you totally that there should be, I don't know, like let's support these businesses because they're pushing forward our sustainability, agro, businesses in a way that's going to shift change. Maybe there's a document or a stamp of certification.
Right.
Those are things that have been talked about in the past. They sort of get
Your Going Green certificate.
Right. Exactly. I just have to say that when you choose to support a business, it has to be for a conscious reason. So it goes back to that consciousness and that intention again. I purposefully choose not to shop some places because I don't want to support them because of their choices. So it's an educational process again. So, like, for example, when you're supporting Maya's farm, you're not just supporting me growing food, you're actually supporting a mission and a direction to shift change. I need your support. I'm small. And so, same thing for Subash. I mean, I would imagine that because of your choice to support local farms and local ingredients, that your price point may be a little higher. Your food's delicious, by the way. I'm so glad that we're at the market downtown. I'm like, oh, good, I can eat.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of teaching people that we have a responsibility in the choices that we make when it comes to consumption of anything. And that is something we have to retrain and rethink America, because we have become walking zombies in the world of consumption, and we don't think about our choices. Like, I'm one of these people that goes to the grocery store, and if it's not in glass, I don't buy it. So, I mean, if it's not organic or GMO free, I don't buy it. There are also huge gaps between the people that can afford that kind of conscious shopping and the people that can't. So it's an unlevel, unjust, inequitable system at this point. And so part of empowering people to grow their food and make healthier choices in consumption is really the way to empower those underserved communities, so that they can be players at the table. They come back to a healthy point of view. Food heals. It heals the planet. It heals our health. It heals our communities. And so that food is a huge, powerful tool that we don't discuss during our political elections. We never have a platform. Food never has a platform. And because of that, I believe that it just is an educational curve, and it's a huge one. Because when you do look at food heals the way you grow food can heal the environment. The way it is distributed and accessed can heal our communities. Food is huge. It's like, and I don't understand why we don't talk about it as a political platform. We talk about oil, right?
Yeah.
And food is as big and as powerful as oil. So it's huge. So education is really the key to creating consumers that make conscious decisions about what they eat, how they eat. They just don't go for the cheapest, most toxic bag of bread. They look at it and they go, oh, this was grown. Oh, I want to, support this system. And that's an educational curve. So it's going to take a lot of education via small businesses like you, Subash, talking about the why you support your small local grower. It's flavor, it's sustainability, it's nutrition. So, I mean, when you look at this is just an example. I'm talking now, but an example is, how many times I have to run to the grocery store and grab a bag of lettuce because I'm too lazy to go back to the farm to cut it, right? And I'll go someplace, I'll buy a bag, and then it's soggy when I open it up. Well, that sogginess means it's been on the shelf for 3 weeks. There's no life left in it. So when you eat it, you're not feeding your body healthy, nutrition dense food. So these are the conversations that we need to teach our kids, that we need to teach Arizona Department of Education, teach our hospitals. So it's a systems revamp, and it's going to take a long time to educate our people in our communities the difference.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for this lovely conversation. Very inspiring work. Thank you for being environmental guardians in our community. And you are inspiring a whole generation of environmental guardianship and looking at our food as an element that not only feeds our bodies, but also our souls. Thank you so much for all of this great conversation. I appreciate it. You are more than welcome to always come back to this platform to share and spread your message, and keep up the great work. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for having us.
Thanks so much.
A huge thank you to our expert panelists, Dr. Jay, Subash, and Maya, for their invaluable insights and thoughtful discussion. We hope to have the opportunity to learn from you again in the future. To our audience, we trust that you found this conversation enlightening and inspiring. If you weren't able to jot down all the insightful tips and strategies, fear not. This session has been recorded and will be available on our website at greenbizaz.com. And while you're there, don't miss out on our previous expert sessions. They're a treasure trove of knowledge that can help you transform your small business into a beacon of sustainability in Arizona. Together, let's make a difference for our businesses, our community, and our planet. To propel your learning journey forward and apply what you've gleaned from this session, we encourage you to explore our website, greenbizaz.com, where you can earn your complimentary Going Green and Going Smart certificate. Our accessible certificate course is designed with your convenience in mind. With a compact format that can be completed in under an hour, you can progress at your own pace. For our Spanish-speaking friends, we're excited to announce that the course is now available in Spanish as well. This comprehensive program offers the opportunity to construct a robust sustainability plan, perform your own energy audits, and create a green marketing strategy to foster sustainable growth. Plus, it enables you to connect with a vibrant online community of like-minded small business owners who are equally committed to preserving our natural resources. Dive into a wealth of knowledge, affordable energy efficiency strategies, innovative energy devices, water conservation techniques, waste reduction methods, and gain access to an extensive network of resources. Embark your sustainability journey with us and secure your Going Green and Going Smart certificate at no cost by visiting greenbizaz.com. Let's create a ripple effect together. Share our resources with your business network and help us ignite a sustainability revolution. Follow the conversation and share your thoughts using the hashtag GreenBizAZ. Thank you once again for tuning in to our Going Green and Going Smart expert session focused on eco-friendly agriculture and boosting sustainability in the food industry. We trust that you found this session enriching, and we eagerly await your company in our upcoming webinars. Until next time, keep thinking green and smart.